Quiet on the set.
Hey, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to our 37th episode of Mind and Money Matters live show with Master the Science of Business in the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And we are in our next to last week of the Ministry of Health and Human Services. And there have been some really serious things going on during this month as we're featuring the Ministry of Health and Human Services, as we have many of our people in dire needs all around the country and the world, really, but really dealing with the various hurricanes and the different weather disasters that the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan has instructed us to follow or watch the weather and to be prepared for that weather. So we have our special guest host that we'll bring up in a few moments that will share with us from the boots on the ground and having the eyewitness and the hands in the areas of helping of our people. We'll be bringing them up momentarily. But in the meantime, we're going to bring up our special he's not the special guest co-host, but he is our co-host.
I'm not special.
You're not special, okay, but you on deck all the time.
Okay, all right. I'm not special. All right.
You're absolutely special, but you're not the special guest for the
whatever.
And those who are going to come up in a momentarily. But we have our dear brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad. He is the founder and CEO of Fallah Worldwide Seminars and Training and Proper Propaganda Promotions. And he will bring to us the Fallah Worldwide Word on the Block.
Yeah, we'll do that as well as welcome. Assalamu alaikum, business scientists. We also have, as you see, running the boards, the producer of Mind and Money Matters live show, as well as the co-host, not so special because she's here every week. Co-host, the owner, that's not the word I want to use, the creative director of agrichild.com, the business manager of More Awareness Now, LLC, which is More Awareness Now, Uplifting Profitability, and a career educator, Sister Sharien Muhammad. So all of this will be inclusive. Salam alaikum, Sister Sharien.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm excited and ready to just jump into it because there's something going on out here.
It is. You know, as some of you all saw, I was glancing through the latest issue of the Final Call newspaper. As we say every week for the last 3 years, 36 weeks that we've been doing this show, you must get your issue of the Final Call newspaper. Brothers and sisters, if you're not getting the Final Call, if you're not reading the Final Call newspaper, you're missing out on a lot of information. As Sister Sharien mentioned, we are highlighting here on Mind and Money Matters live show, we're highlighting this month the Ministry of Health and Human Services. And as you see in this issue, just right there on the screen, weed is not the answer. Weed is not the answer. So check this out, Sister Sharien.
And why is that title so important? You know, it's like nowadays, because of this, you know, weed being made legal, or the legalization of weed in many states across the United States and other areas of the world, that it's just this big popular thing, right? And it's yielding all this money that people are trying to get on the bandwagon
Right, right.
and capitalize off of it. It's making me think of the prohibition days and
Absolutely.
when everything was, first it was illegal to drink alcohol, then it became legal, and what happened?
Yes,
Where are
the
we today
state
with the
that
state of alcohol?
right. There are few organizations that control the manufacturing and the distribution. So that's what we have to be mindful of with the weed. And I know, like, I posted this picture last week when the paper came out on my Facebook page, and one brother uh, commented back, "Well, it depends on what the question is." So you know what his mindset about weed isn't the answer. He said it depends on what the question is. No, whatever the question is, weed is not the answer. So get this issue of the final call. Our brother Brian 18X Crawford is doing a fantastic job. His investigative skills, his research skills are absolutely dynamic. So um, just like what Dr. Wesley Muhammad did to break down the chemical composition that's in this synthetic weed. That is the problem. That's one of the biggest problems.
Mm-hmm.
You see, just compare it to the vaping. Okay, a couple of years ago, vaping was all the latest rage, right? It still
And
is.
and now
But,
and now you got so many in the hospital dying and have
right,
already
right,
died from the
right.
effects of vaping. It's like
Because of what it's doing to the
what is it like
lungs.
smoking 20 cigarettes, one vape?
Right, because you're
Oh,
smoking
it's
straight.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, you're smoking straight nicotine.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
but so, brothers and sisters, the point is, this is the month of health and human services that we're highlighting. So, if that's a vice of yours, please take a closer look at that vice. See what's going into it. I know our brothers and sisters say, "Well, it's from the earth." Well, this new stuff is not from the earth; it's manufactured. And look at this too. And I'll get up off this point after this. How many of our brothers in particular, and some sisters, but particularly brothers, have served or are serving long prison sentences because of being caught with marijuana?
mm-hmm.
How many are behind bars? Now, look, I read this article early this year. There's a white dude out of Canada, because a lot of this stuff is manufactured, a lot of this stuff, this weed is manufactured in Canada. So he's almost a billionaire, if not a billionaire, because his company is supplying like 80% of the weed to the dispensaries in California. But he's Canadian. Now they're giving his background, and this is the thing that irked me. In his background, they say he started his entrepreneurial pursuits in high school, selling marijuana to his classmates.
Mm, 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 mm.
Now for us, it'd be like, oh, he was selling weed in high school. He was a drug dealer. But this white boy, they talk about his entrepreneurial pursuits. He started early in high school selling weed. So we can get into the sociological disparity, the health disparity, the emotional disparity, because this stuff is making our people go crazy. This synthetic thing. So final call. That's our. Thank you, Amy. That's our. I forgot my point. Oh, finalcall.com. Final call
That's
digital.
your word. That's part of your. That's
That's
part of
part
your
of it.
word.
That's
That's
part of
part of
that's
your
part of
word
that's
on the
part of it.
block. And
That's
as
part
you
of what
were
we're talking
saying,
about.
right, brother Brian 18X Crawford did a wonderful job in analyzing the state of affairs with regards to weed, and also quoting Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who is speaking from Mosque Mariam
Oh
this
yes,
coming
this
Sunday,
week.
right?
Uh
This
huh.
coming Sunday. So definitely check him out and look at all of the prior. I mean, he's been just really hitting it hard on giving us
Absolutely.
information on the effects of marijuana, and in particular
Absolutely.
this manufacture. Just like I mean, all the other foods that are being manufactured.
You're
Um,
right. Yes,
Weed
that's
is
another
in the same
same
category.
category. It's in the same
Mhm.
category, right? And there are others that are making billions of dollars off of our probably initial good time, but eventually it has a long term bad effect on us. So finalcalldigital.com, please go there, subscribe to the digital channel. If you would like to get your subscription of the Final Call newspaper, you can go to finalcall.com. No matter where you are in the country, if you're local here in Atlanta, you can come by 3642 Campbellton Road, which is the Southern Regional Headquarters of the Nation of Islam, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and get your copies of the Final Call. And we're all over the place. Wherever Black people are, we're there. So you can just see any FOI or MGT and get your Final Call newspaper and sign up for a subscription. All of us are taking subscriptions, so you definitely want to stay abreast. And I must do a little bragging too, Sister Sharien. I'm not sure if you saw this, but on page 29 of this week's issue of the Final Call, which was from last week's issue, Atlanta is #1 in the Nation of Islam in the distribution of the Final Call newspaper. So, Atlanta.
Okay,
Atlanta, back on top. We always hover.
I gotta go to that. This is a tribute to the MUI and the
MUI, yes.
And you can still give at NOI.org. You can still
absolutely
donate to that. It's also in the Final Call featuring the Exonerated Five, formerly known as the Central Park Five.
Right.
I'm looking for this, what you were referring to, Brother Jahi.
Page 29. Page 29.
Okay. Oh, I passed it.
Look at all of these fantastic articles.
Okay. Atlanta.
#1.
Yes, and you see, it's always a note on how to eat to live in case you
always
all this candy.
Beware of starchy foods and sweets. You know, I read that article and I was thinking about last week when we had Dr. Jessica Muhammad on, who's a neurologist based in Chicago. And that led into that discussion. Remember the discussion that you and she had about the diets and how our diets lead to hypertension and diabetes are major causes of these strokes. So, brothers and sisters, it all goes back to what we're ingesting, what we're putting into our bodies. Let's just be more mindful of those types of things so we can prevent the diseases. And one last note, I saw another article about, because we're dealing with health, brothers and sisters. Those of you who are on blood pressure medication to deal with or treat your, I don't know if it's treating, but to deal with your high blood pressure, there are some medicines that have a higher dosage of this one chemical in it that they put in the drug that is a carcinogen. So it's causing cancer. Now, these people are now the FDA allows a certain amount of this stuff in the drugs, but this particular one, this particular brand or pharmaceutical has more than what's allowed by the FDA. So you're taking blood pressure medicine to keep your blood pressure down, but it has carcinogens in it. It's causing you cancer. The one carcinogen that they found in high dosage is called NMBA. NMBA is N-methylnitrosobutyric acid. Methylnitrosobutyric acid, which is a carcinogen. So Health and Human Services Month, brothers and sisters, we don't want to sound down, but we just want to alert all of us, because all of us in the same boat. We just want to be more aware of our surroundings and things that are going on around us. And of course, don't forget economicblueprint.org. Economicblueprint.org. Make your 5 cents a day contribution, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, $1.40 a month. 16 million of us that have some type of income will contribute to economicblueprint.org. That will give us $291,200,000 in a year's time, so we can buy land, and the other resources that we need so that we can produce for ourselves, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. So definitely go to economicblueprint.org and make your contribution. It's only $18.20 a month. You know, you and I, everybody's up at late at night. You see those commercials to save the seals or save the elephants or save the muskrats. You know, they ask you to send $19 a month for
Save
that.
our black families.
For only $18 a year.
Right, right.
So
Come on, 5 cents a day, y'all. 5 cents a
5 cents a
day.
day. Save a black family. There you go. That's what we're gonna start saying. Save a black family
Save a black family.
for only
Yes.
18 dollars a day. eighteen dollars
A nickel a day. You wouldn't
nickel a day. eighteen
you would
dollars.
not miss it.
18 that won't even miss that. You can spend more of that on the weed. So forego the weed, one I guess one blunt or whatever, however they do it. This weekend, there's a lot of things going on this weekend, Sister Sharien. Saturday, we taking over downtown Lithonia with the first annual Black Dot Cultural Festival, the first annual Black Dot Cultural Arts Festival in downtown Lithonia, Georgia. And I don't have Kazimde's number in front of me. Oh, hold on. Yes, I do. Okay. If you're interested in being a vendor at this auspicious event, you can call 404 519 8107. 404 519 8107. That is this Saturday, September the 28th, from 1 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. in downtown Lithonia, Georgia. That's on the east side of Atlanta, the first annual Black Dot Cultural Arts Festival. And I'm
Now, what
trying to,
street is that on?
that's on Main Street in Lithonia. Main Street in downtown Lithonia. We shutting it down. We taking over the block. Now I gotta figure out how to do this because I got 3 other events I'm supposed to be at that same day. So really gonna have to learn how to teleport or
Now,
make
what is the
myself.
store? What is the store number on Main Street?
Oh, you would ask that, wouldn't you? 6986 Main Street, Lithonia, Georgia 30058. 6986 Main Street, Lithonia, Georgia 30058. Black Dot Cultural Center and Bookstore. But we're taking over all of the outside of all of downtown Lithonia. We're taking it over from 1 o'clock to, I said 9, I think it's 1 to 7. 1 to 7. Another event that we have going on Saturday is the annual Bridge Fest, which is in downtown Stockbridge. That's on Saturday. That's on Friday and Saturday. Friday from 6 o'clock p.m. to 9 p.m. There's an outdoor gospel concert. It's called Bridge Fest. And then on Saturday, it's festivities all day long. And the featured event is the original Sugar Hill. Original Sugar Hill Gang is the featured act at Bridge Fest, which is in Stockbridge. And you're going to just have to look up Stockbridge. The city of Stockbridge.com. There's only one street in Stockbridge. So if you just drive down, you just drive down Highway 42, Georgia Highway 42 south of Atlanta, and you'll run into it eventually, Bridge Fest. So those are a couple of events that we'll be a part of this weekend. So what else you have going on, Sister Sharien? What's happening in the world of agri-child?
The world of agri-child. Agri-child, little Elijah is taking a trip around Africa, exploring the 52 countries in Africa through the works of brother student minister Abdul Akbar Muhammad, and studying the map of Africa and reporting back to his fan base the various countries in Africa, their landmass, dimensions, areas, locations, whether they're on the north, the south, the east, the west, on the coast, off the coast, off which oceans, their population, their currency, their commodities. So that's what little Elijah is busy doing with Agrichild. So look forward to that. Little Elijah explores Africa through the eyes of Brother Student Minister Abdul Akbar Muhammad, who has visited over 40, or at, I think it's 44 or 46. I think it's 46 to date now, how many countries he's been to. But in the last publication that I'm reading of his, it says 44, but I think I heard him mention 46. So he
That's
may have
it.
2 additional countries that he's visited since.
Right. That's on the continent of Africa. He's visited 46 of the 52, you say?
Yes.
He has visited 144 countries on the planet.
Right.
144 countries. The UN recognizes 197. So he's been to over 70% of the countries on the planet Earth. He's a bad, bad man. Minister
Right. So
Abdul Akbar
little
Muhammad.
Elijah is just visiting the ones that's in Africa.
For right
And his
now.
book that you could get Minister Akbar's book from his website. Brother Jahi, you remember his website?
Ooh.
Um,
Uh, I don't. Africa. She gonna
it's
look it
Africa.
up.
It's called Africa in the World Revisited, but
Hmm.
I believe um, his website is okay. Well, this says hughfunding.com, but I think he has a website in his own name. But I mean, this particular card I got when I initially got the book in 2017, because this book was published in 2017, and it is called Africa and the World Revisited. So this is where we are with Agrichild, studying the land of the continent Africa.
All praise is due to Allah. And brothers and sisters, business scientists, you may be noticed that we're missing our third partner, Sister Sandy Beauford Muhammad, this evening. She is one of the busiest business people in the Atlanta metropolitan area. So she has some other business things that she has going on tonight. And what you don't want to do, especially brothers, make sure that the women in your life attend the Inner Chambers Women's Retreat. So go to the Inner Chambers Women's Retreat eventbrite.com and sign them up for this auspicious event, which is happening May the 8th through the 10th of 2020. So you got a few months to go ahead and pool, put back some money instead of buying those. That'll be the Christmas money that you would usually spend for Christmas. You're going to allocate it toward this dynamic event. The Inner Chambers Women's Retreat eventbrite.com. And inshallah, Sister Sandy will be back with us next week. So anything else? I think I got everything in my notes, Sister Sharien. I covered
Oh, I'm
everything.
good. I'm ready.
We
I'm
ready.
excited about our guests. I'm excited to hear what's going on in Houston, and all. I have family in Houston. I'm looking forward to getting to the bottom of what's going on.
All right. I see Brother Reginald. You bringing them up.
Yes, sir.
Our special guest co-host for the month of September is our brother and sister, the dynamic duo out of Austin, Texas, the capital.
Hey,
Oh, they're together. I didn't know they're gonna be together. Okay, I thought one was. But look, you talking about we were talking about world travel. Talking about Minister Akbar as a world traveler. Look, they were in the Bahamas for a couple of weeks down there doing what they do, serving humanity, helping ease the trauma among our people in the Bahamas. Came back to the United States, dropped off one bag, picked up another bag, jumped in the car, and went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and did a disaster preparedness, a dynamic. It's on you. It's on Facebook, so you all can go to Reggie Muhammad's page on Facebook or Sister Christina Muhammad's page on Facebook and check out those dynamic workshops. Or better yet, they're going to give us contact information, bring them to your city so
That's
that
right.
you can get the initial things to be prepared. So they did that. And I spoke to Brother Reginald yesterday. They were in the car on the way back to Austin, drop off one bag, pick up another one, and headed to Houston. So
That's right.
welcome back. Welcome back to Mind
Voila.
and Money Matters Live. So this is a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting to see both of you
Yes,
all
sir.
together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Walaikum
salam.
salam.
Yes, sir. Like the brother was saying, we exactly how he explained it, exactly how the actions actually took place. Soon as we got back, we knew we had a training in Little Rock, and we didn't want to let our believing family in Little Rock down and out. So we said, you know what, Allah's God. So we picked up our bags from Little Rock and said, let's go. So we brought it. We actually brought our whole family. You may can see in some of the videos, we brought our whole family. So our whole family got a chance to participate in the actual training as well.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. So whole family includes who? Uh,
My
who?
my wife, myself, and then my three children. So all of
Oh,
us
wonderful.
participate in the actual training itself.
It's a family affair. That is
Yes, sir.
absolutely
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So for the business scientists that are tuning in, maybe for the first time or may not be aware, Brother Reggie and Sister Christina have an organization, 10,000 Fearless First Responders, based out of Austin, Texas. But as you see, they go all over the world, wherever the need is for them to be. So, what type of things do you all do as first responders? What does that entail? What is it, and what does it entail?
So praise be to Allah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum
This is
salam.
Christina Muhammad. So it's a lot. It's a variety of things. When you think about just being there, first responder, that's being there with any disasters. And a lot of us think that disasters are just hurricanes, tornadoes, rain, flooding. There's more disasters to that. Black people, we've been dealing with disasters for 400 years.
Come
So
on now.
whatever there may be in dealing with our people, that's why we say in the nation of Islam, we don't understand that we all are first responders. We are there, we have the information. And even before that, we think of Master Fard Muhammad, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Master Fard Muhammad was the first responder to come upon the scene of America.
Mm.
He
Come
was the
on.
one that came in to he came searching for those that were lost themselves. So that's the type of love that we have, the dedication is to go out there to our people to find out what type of assistance is needed. The biggest thing that we have now, of course, is the weather. And coming back from Bahamas and seeing everything that our people have gone through, it is definitely a disaster site. So we do anything from going in and clean up disasters. We do search and rescue. We train, teach them, how to grow your own food. We do security. I mean, you name it. The sky is the limit, and we want to be there to show the love. Like the minister said, it's not just about training. A mother going into a burning building, she may not have fire preparedness, is what the minister's words that he beautifully put it. But it's the
Hmm.
love inside of that mother that she would respond to someone that is in need. And that's who and what we are. And that's what we represent, the love that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shows for us. We represent the love that he shows, and we just want to give it back.
That's
All
right.
praises
That's
due
right.
to Allah.
All praise is due to Allah. So, for those that would like to get in contact with you all to bring you in to do your dynamic, life saving workshops and drills, please share that information with us.
Absolutely. So you can definitely call 512-450-2411. Again, that's 512-450-2411. Or you can email us at 10, you can do TEN, which is 10K, spell out fearless first responders at yahoo.com. Spell out TENK, first responders at yahoo.com.
Okay, fantastic. So, what do y'all have coming up?
Um, Lot. Again, we put that one bag down. We'll be headed out in the morning to Beaumont, Texas, Port Arthur, Texas, underwater. There's some
Uh
shelters
huh.
out there, different churches out there that reached out to us, asked us to come in. We'll be going in there and helping our people rebuild. So it's a big monster mess down there. So we'll be headed down there.
Wow.
And then of course we'll be getting ready to head to Fort Worth to do a training. And of course we're back home but we're back home to raise money. We're back home because this time when we go back to the Bahamas, we're not going empty-handed. We're going down there with what the needs that we saw that is needed. We want to actually go down there and take those things to our believing families.
So
Wonderful.
what is the biggest need? What
Right.
have you
The
seen
biggest
to
thing
be
is lumber right now. When I
lumber?
tell you it's a sad situation, our family down there, 2016, they had the first devastation. They had a hurricane that wasn't too bigly publicized. So our people are dealing with a disaster squared, disaster times disaster. So they have a 2016 when they had their first disaster, many of the people roofs were blown off. And what we
Mm.
went down there to see, they got hit again. And when they got hit again, the homes are totally in shambles. We have pictures of dealing with electricity right now. We went into a few of the homes that they had there. And when we talk about walking in and wires coming out of the ceiling, and the ceiling wires are actually spliced. So you have to duck your head down so you won't get zapped by the electricity. And we had to remove certain people, let them know they had to get out of those homes. Thank God the power was off. But when you have
Hmm.
water and power, you have a very bad disaster. So we had to
That's
let them
a
know that they had to get out. So, our people are living very bad down there. And I'm thankful to
wow.
Allah. We sometimes look at ourselves in our situation and say, look, we're doing bad. We haven't seen bad yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were having this discussion recently, Sister Christina and Brother Reggie, is there's money in disaster.
Yes, sir.
I've
Yes.
been reading about these large contractors like
Yes,
a
sir.
Bechtel and a KKR
Right.
and some of the other ones. Do you all encounter them? And what is the how do you work with the aspect they coming in and making millions of dollars to
Mhm.
do what
Mhm.
they're doing,
Right.
and your organization coming in with other organizations on the humanitarian side? How the struggle for balance, to quote the one of the study or five of the study guides, the struggle for balance, how do you handle that?
The balance of it is yes, the money is definitely out there,
Sir.
but the money that we as the people that we're giving it to different organizations, see, that money comes in, the money is coming into the Bahamas, but our people are not getting it. They're taking that money and using it for others. One thing that we realized down there, we were asked to help with some government stuff, go in, help the government retrieve records and do this, that, and the other. But my thing was, we need to see the people. Yes, we can help the government. The government's going to pick up. They're resilient. They're going to pick up and start all over again and get their records they can build, but our people cannot. So that's
Hmm.
one thing that we learned down there is when we're giving monies to these disaster relief situations, the money is definitely coming, but it's not going directly to the people. And we have
Right.
video footage of the people stating that the government just don't care.
Right.
We know that. Dealing with being here in America, we know that it's like that. And that's exactly how it is in Bahamas. So when we
Hmm.
looked at the people that they were getting, they were only getting maybe a bottle or two bottles of water and a little bit of food here, but our people are not puppies. So we went in and we started to find out the needs of the people and find the communities of the people. And we found those people. We found those people with no water. We found those people with no electricity. They're just begging, thinking, looking at us. As we go back to the Bahamas right now, we're looking at taking 20 people with us.
That's right.
We're looking for carpenters. We're looking for electricians. Come on in here. We want people to go down there who has the skills. So when we go down there, we're able to help our people rebuild. Rebuilding is the most important thing. And the most time when you see us as a people, the Quran teaches us the reminder is good for the believers. And it is wonderful. It's great for the believers. But when you constantly sit in the scene of a disaster, everything just trash on the side of the road, that's something that used to be your own and that's not cleaned up, that at a point of time become horrible, and the healing of the mind for you to be able to be resilient is taken away from you. And that's what's happening to our people now.
Hmm. And that begs the question that just came up with what you just said, Sister Christina. When you, possibly your own experience, but when you take people who going down to help and they've never experienced anything like that, what type of help do you give to those that go with you? I say help like they may need to talk to somebody because you just saw, it's like being in war, I would imagine, where you
Right.
just see
Right.
something traumatic. So
That's
I'm
true.
coming to help, but I've never seen anything like this before.
This is true.
What is it? What do y'all have recommend for somebody like that to help us, maintain our sanity in the midst of trying to help someone else out?
Well, again, there's always the Dianetics part.
That's
There's
right.
always the talking. Brother Reginald and I and Brother Derek, that he should be on the phone.
He
We
is.
talk to each other. And the good thing about it is, brother, is when you see that things like that, that is more mass given to us. It's not anything that's something far fetched than what we've been taught. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad already told us this stuff was coming.
Right.
Now we're just seeing the mass of it. So we have to thank Allah, and we have to be able to see past the pain. The pain is going to be there. We make sure that each other, that we're not re-stimulated. We give each other the locationals, if we
Right.
have to bring us back to present time. We were down there, and the same way, there was no power, there was no water for us as well. So we had to live like the people on the
Living in
islands
the
that were
struggle.
there actually living.
Right.
We had to live in the struggle. But I thank Almighty God Allah, because that will give me more empathy toward the people. That gives me more experience, so I can experience what my people are feeling. And that'll make me move quickly to be able to go back down and to help. But what helps us more, and I have to say this, all praises due to Allah, is everybody has a mission as to why they're going down there.
Right.
We know that it's a disaster. But when you're coming down to all the work that we have done, we did it in Allah's name. We mentioned Minister Farrakhan so much down there that the people on the islands was like, Farrakhan, yes, we want Farrakhan. Please, please. One of the men came back and found a hotel down there and said, well, 10,000 fit? Can we get 10,000 people? We want Farrakhan. We want Farrakhan. That right there is a spiritual upliftment. There's no way we can fall down and be low when you're bringing the divinity to the island of the people. So that gave me plenty of pleasure moments.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. Yeah,
We
Farrakhan.
fired up,
you just
right?
you just lifted my spirits. Look, I want to bring into this discussion because we've touched on some things, and we by God's
At what
grace,
point did you want to show the video, Brother Jahi?
we'll do that toward the end. I want
Okay.
to go ahead and
Just
bring
let
up
me know when you
yes, ma'am. Want to bring up one who has 20 plus years experience in the human services arena. But before I do that, I want so that we all on be mindful of what this is, the ministry of health and human services. So if you go to noi.org and you can see the perspective or the definitions of each of the ministries. So the Ministry of Health and Human Services provides for the physical, mental, and emotional well being of the members of the society. The goal of the Ministry of Health is the fulfillment of the intention of the Creator for every human being to achieve his or her potential for both longevity and good health throughout life. Its efforts extend to the family and the community as well as the individual. That is the goal of the Ministry of Health and Human Services. So I had to reach into my Rolodex and call on one who I've had the privilege of working with, and I didn't realize it had been this long. It's been almost 10 years that we've been working on various projects Atlanta in the Atlanta metropolitan area. She is a human services guru. She is full of resources that you and I need in order to. I like the word that Sister Christina used a few moments ago, being resilient, especially during those time periods where we may encounter situations in life that deplete resources or cause us to have to make a left turn on a one-way street that's only going right, those types of things. My sister Brenda Williams of Willing to Be, which is a human services development and process improvement specialist firm, is one of our guests this evening. We're honored to have her on Mind and Money Matters live show for the first time, although we've been trying to book her for the last 2 years, I think 2 or 3 years. but as busy as she is handling situations all over the country, not just in Georgia, but in California and other parts of the United States. So please welcome our human services guru, Brenda Williams. Peace, Brenda. Welcome.
Greetings.
How are you?
Can you guys see me?
I was like,
We
okay,
see you.
is it gonna happen?
And you know, I think I lost mine.
No,
You
we hear
good.
you.
You good.
We hear you and see
fine.
you.
I can't see you anymore.
Oh, but
No,
we
it's
hear
okay.
you though.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's on voice activation. So when you're it's whoever's speaking.
No problem.
Yes. Welcome.
I
Welcome.
wanna commend the couple on what they're doing because oh my goodness. You're
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
Be
Thank you.
involved in that. Oh my goodness. It takes a special person to do what they're doing and continue to do that. Wow, that's human service in the raw. That's it. That is what human service consists of. And it's from the heart. My niece actually have joined with the Red Cross and going out and doing the same thing and going
Beautiful.
to the disasters.
Wow.
So, oh my goodness, it's that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
it's
Right.
tough because what you see and what you see every day. Wow.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
We work on the other side of the human services and stabilizing families that already have a structure in place or have something. But wow, that yes.
One. Well, Brenda, you mentioned your company is willing to be, and you work with several nonprofits that human services oriented nonprofits. And I know
Right.
you work with a couple of them here in the Atlanta area that are major forces in the community. I say 20 plus years. How long have you been in human services, and
Oh,
what
wow.
led you down the path?
At least 20 years. And I think I started in human service as because I like to serve. And that's what I do, and that's my passion. I started in doing job development and starting that. I've worked with several agencies as an employee in first developing and helping clients with disabilities to find jobs. That's where my path started. What I realized in doing that, I worked with so many agencies on the job with them and helping to stabilize families. If what I realized on the backside of that was where the real need was in stabilizing the agencies that go out and do the jobs that they do. And that's where the real stability, I think the
Mm.
real stability was needed. So that's why I started my business and saying, okay, um, in addition to helping the community, I need to find ways to help stabilize the organizations because
Gotcha.
that's where the need really start. And I think what I found was that, you know, human service started as a good thing and we're there to help satisfy the needs of the people we serve. But what has happened in the process of doing is that we begin to enable our community. So
Mm.
we kind of missed the mark. The only reason I say we missed the mark, not that we just have to reinvent what we do or how we're doing it. Because if you look at our community and what has happened, homeless prevention, the funding that is put into homeless prevention and rapid rehousing was done several years ago. And we don't seem to be any closer to completing that process. And I think the reason being is because what we have to put in place is some things that really make the difference. We put in place the funding that was necessary to keep them in their homes. We put in place the funding that's necessary to rehouse them. But the real issues and what I found out in working with Hosea Feed the Hungry, what I found out after I first started working there, we went to visit in I think what they call it's called Bankhead Forest. And there was a young man there that considered himself the mayor of that area. You know, Hosea go out and go in the community and provide blankets, food. This is the outreach side of that. What I found is this young man said to us, and this was my early days with Hosea. And he told us that, you know, what they did, they came in, they moved everybody out of here, out of this area, out of the off the street, put them in apartments, put them in their own places. Good thing, right? What they did not do is address the real issues that sit up under. They addressed what was on the top. You see, what we fail to realize in human service was that what happens initially when there's a crisis in mentally that happens with people.
Absolutely.
And we
Absolutely.
deal with the crisis that's in front of them, which is usually what we can see. but we
Right.
don't deal with the crisis that happens within their mind. And,
That's right.
mental health, but then begins to set in. You may not have mental health, but it sets in because people then go into crisis mode. And so what needed to happen is to look up under the surface and start dealing with some of the issues that stand underneath. The same with our organizations. They spend a lot of time in providing the service, but what has happened in trying to meet the funding needs, we get the funding that we needed, but what has happened in human service is that we miss the need underneath. We start having now to respond to the demographics, respond to the numbers, and we're missing the real case management that sits underneath for the person. So we lose sight of the real need. All it means is that we've got to redraft what we're doing, go back to the plate, look at what we're doing, and start that over. And I don't mean really start over, but provide programs that's going to give us what our audience really needs. That's going to
Gotcha.
work. It's a longer process. It
Yes.
means it's going to put a lot more on human service to deliver, and it does. But it means that's what's necessary to be done. Because what we have done in our community, our clientele looked at one organization and they go to the next because you've given them everything that they need at their fingertips. What happened is the case managers start wanting the successes more than the client itself because we've given them everything that they need. There's no reason for them to look outside and to do anything else for them. You've got a pantry on every block.
Right.
So in
Right.
addition to that, when you think about it, in addition to having a pantry on every block, they have food stamps. In addition to that pantry on every block, but we've enabled them and not allowed them the time, to grow from their successes.
Mm-hmm.
In partnering with Atlanta Area Tech, there was a program that's called the Work Ready program, and what they did in that program was said, okay, we'll give our clients $300 max, and they did it in periods of three. They gave them a card, and all they have to do is come in, get the resources that you really need, and once you take the test and you get those resources, we give you $100. Come back and improve your standing, and then give you another $100. This was done 3 times. And the problem with that was not many people, the mindset of our community, they wanted that. They wanted to improve. They wanted that, but they were in their comfort zone wasn't, I'm gonna go to where I know I'm gonna get what I need. I know I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna take a chance because this is my comfort zone now. My comfort zone is right here.
Mm-hmm.
I have this pantry here. I can go right here. I can do what I need. I can get
Right.
it becomes your comfort zone. And it wasn't that
Right.
they didn't want the $300. Yes, they did. But you had to pull them outside of their comfort zone. And once that $300 gone, if they're not comfortable in that and not, what it was making the shift. So all I'm saying for human service and what we try to look at and what I try to assist organizations in looking at is a strategy that's going to first going to change their platform and make sure they have some stability, and then making sure that their community, that they can address the needs that sit in here, that's mental. And what I mean by that, they have to be able to change their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, that takes a little bit more of a process.
Right.
It's a little bit more work involved in that. But if you really want real change, it's got to start here.
Come on.
Fundamental. That's
That's
Gotta
right.
start
right.
here.
That's right.
But so for my organization, what I look at, I look for things, I look for ways and to do what they need to do, and programs going to help them address that.
Mm-hmm.
Because not something that we do alone, and it has to be done. It takes a village.
That's right.
It takes a village, and what I try to do is to promote collaborations. I try to tie organizations together and strengthen what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to doing that, we definitely start at a much younger audience than we've done.
Oh, okay. Is that's by design, starting with a younger
Oh,
audience?
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. It's got to be your strategy. It's got to be a part of the strategy, because what we've done over the years, and we've tried to teach our audience to change their behavior and to change what they do. And we've missed the ones that sit underneath. You got to start with that new that younger generation, because that's where your real change is going to take place. In the programs that I try to help my organization that I work with develop, is going to target that audience. It's going to target your family also. But I think more emphasis and more of your education, it's got to be placed underneath. Then the parents are going to come along. It sounds like it probably sounds like we're leaving them off, but we're not. We're
Okay.
not. All I'm saying is that we have to, how can I say that a different way? Because I probably didn't put that right. Um, Out of all of the organizations that I've worked with, their biggest challenge, the challenges that they had in human service was they were repeat. They were repeat. Their
Mm-hmm.
clients came back. They always came
Mm-hmm.
back. I mean, you do get some that stabilize. There's always going to be some that stabilize. But the real change meant that there was something else that we needed to look at. Something else that needed to be looked at in different programs to hold their hand long enough to pull them out, to pull them out
Gotcha.
to long enough that they change. They say it takes how long to break a habit and how long to
21
stay
days.
on it.
1 day.
And they've got to go through that process of breaking the old habits and
Right. Right.
starting a new habit. And our
Right.
population have been in the habit of what they have been doing for a long
For
time,
years. For
a long time, a
years.
long time.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
they've been forced to depend on what's in front of them because they grab it because it's immediate. And
Right.
I got to
Right.
stabilize my family right now. So I'm going to take what's
Right.
right here immediate. And
Right.
in
Right.
doing that, it took away that drive for them to now, bring
See
the
the long term. I see what you're
right.
talking about is the difference between short term, which is survival, and if we're always in
Survival mode.
survival mode, that causes stress
Oh,
on
Yes.
yeah.
the mental on our mental capacity. So there
Mhm.
has to be. I like you use the word stabilizing. So the two words of the day, brothers and sisters, is resilience and stabilizing.
Build a dictionary,
Resilience
brother. Build
and stay.
it.
Yes. So to stabilize, so we can get to a point where the survival mode is not always, there. Because again, as I said, it causes mental stress, and that's when
Mhm.
the long term mental illness, not just that breakdown, but the long term mental illness. So I know you have a program that you have going on now with women, so you can share that with us, and also we need contact information from you.
Yes,
So there's
sir.
organizations or people that work with organizations, especially nonprofit or human services organization that's listening, and they definitely would need to bring you in to help them see how they can stabilize their
Yes.
organization. So please
Yes.
share that information with us.
Okay, the program that we're doing right now, and I'm working with Hosea Feed the Hungry, and it's a women's life skills and job development program. I think the beauty of this program is it had three main components. And the very first one is a communication piece. Because number one, seriously, the communication is key. And how we deal with those in front of us, that's key. So that components that we have in this program is your communication piece. Financial empowerment is more serious than most people think because our people don't understand finances. They don't understand how important it is.
That's
They,
right.
we give them a little short-term budget planning because it's required by most of our grants, but we don't take them through the processes where they can actually gain that real stability in that area. And our other piece is what your health and wellness piece. So important. And that health and wellness piece also involves mental health.
The
What we
mental.
did in that program, initially we went in and we embedded services into a complex, and they asked me to come back in and do a support group. And so I said, and exactly what we wanted, because we want to hear what was needed, because we're doing this on a regular basis. We went back in and did a workshop. You know what was really needed? I think about 80% of the women that was in the program had mental health issues. And not only in mental health, they
Wow.
were going to see someone, but the issues that they come to, but they've come across with is things that from their families that they
Right.
embedded there.
Right.
You got to break those things. You got to help them to break those barriers that already sit there. And that's on
Mm,
top of the other issues
that's
that they
right.
have with
Mm.
no employment, um, being evicted. That's on top of all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Brother Muhammad, that can help us with, in sharing some of that how deep that is, that mental
Mm-hmm.
health side of it, and some of the things that we find. So what we realize that those women, we put it together, and we had a young lady come through that had some mental health, and she actually just started the workshop for us. And oh my goodness, there was so many issues underneath for women. Women are
Mm-hmm.
trying to lead, they're trying to lead, and it's not how it was
Right.
designed. It was never designed that way for them to lead. And
Wow.
they're trying. They've been doing it for years because
Wow.
they've had to lead. But the issues that they have dealt with in being in position to do that, along with the abuse and other things that they deal with on a regular basis, you'd be surprised. All of the things that sit there. But I think it's because women are so strong that they put things behind them and they try to keep moving.
And keep
That's
They
right.
moving.
try to
I,
move
I, I
forward.
I want to I want to let's take a closer look at what you just said, Brenda, because that's so powerful. We just
Mhm.
happen to have on the line two sisters who,
Mhm.
um, how do I want to put it, have vast experience in this area in helping women.
Oh,
Sister
excellent.
Christina is in the Nation of Islam. We have
Mhm.
a military structure. So
That's right.
Sister
Mhm.
Christina is the captain of the MGT, the Muslim Girls in Training in
Uh-huh.
Austin, Texas. So she's
That's right.
responsible for this development that you're talking about of women in the
That's right.
Austin, Texas area. And Sister Sharien, our co-host and my business partner, she is a former Southern Regional captain. So she was responsible for the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia, the state of Alabama, the state of Mississippi, and the state of Tennessee, in helping to develop that. And I know both of them have vast experience
Oh,
in
yeah.
dealing with the mental
Yes.
piece, the mental aspect of what you're talking about. So I want both
Mhm.
of them to chime in on what
Oh,
was just
please.
talked about.
Yes.
And it was so what you just said, and what I'm thinking about. Maybe I'm not sure if everyone has heard it, but there's this debate going on in social media now about something that what's the sister's name? Fantasia.
Oh, yes.
Fantasia
Mhm.
Oh,
said
yes.
about being
Exactly.
submitting.
All right.
So
They got to, that's right.
and but you like you say, it's not the one designed. So all this mental pressure, we
No,
just
it
don't.
wasn't. It wasn't designed
Yeah.
that way. And look at, but what you look at is when you look at the responses that she's gotten, so we see where it's taken them. You see where our women are and where they stand. Because
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's only because it's been misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Submission have been misunderstood.
Come on.
And they don't understand what that means because most women, you got to look at it from the woman side of it. I understand how the women are fighting back because they don't have the men that stand like that
Teach
and
on
that
it.
we
Teach on
respect
it.
that submission.
Right. Go ahead.
They abuse it. So they
Right.
have that, they're in the middle. They're in the middle saying, well, wow, if I submit, this guy just running over me. And
Right.
and it's not meant to be that way. But men,
Wow.
it was always meant for men to lead. And women are supposed to be to help me. We do what we do and not try to lead. But
You
our
sound
women
like
have
a minister, Brenda.
Yeah,
oh,
yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
our
Absolutely.
women have been forced to be in that
Keep on
position. They've
rocking.
just been forced to be in that position, and they have to take charge. And I think what happens in that. And I look at um, in my family structure, I look at my father and I look at my mother, and I know what my father did, and he was very he was a leader in my family. And what that does for strong women, though, it makes women look for that but it also
Mhm.
gives women that strength that parent carries. And the reason I say that because I think it might have made me more independent because I saw the strength and I saw what my father did and I know what he held up. And what it did for me is to know how to do it if need be.
That's
Help me to
right. That's
understand how
right.
to step into that role if I had to.
That's right.
And for me, I've had to step in that role sometimes because I've been in my first marriage that didn't last and it didn't work that way. So I've had to step in that role. So I understand how women feel. They've been forced to be able to do that. I'm fortunate that I haven't had to do that in the role that I'm in now. I have a strong man that's there,
Wonderful.
but he bounces. The problem that he do bounce and he still hit some of those. My strong. I know I sometimes have to pull myself back because I'm used to being out there and
Used to
having
doing it, right, right,
for my family,
right.
you know, having
Used
to
to
do it by
having
myself.
to
So
do it. So
I
that is
understand
this
those
what you're
women,
saying,
and
that
they just don't want
population.
it. They just they need what you, they need that education. They need to understand, and it'll work so much better. But we got to
Right.
get them in the lead.
So you
We gotta work with men to lead.
what's the name of the program again, Brendan? I want Sister Sharien and Sister Christina to chime in on that piece about women in particular. But what's the name of the program again, and how do they get in
Our women's
contact with
life
you?
skills and job development program.
Women
Women's
Life
life
Skills and
skills and
Job Development
job development
Program.
program.
Okay.
Right. And how do they get in contact with you? There's sisters that's watching this, or someone that's watching this, and they know someone who can benefit from this program. How do they get in contact with
And
you to
all they have to
sign
do is
up to
go
get more
to
information?
forhosea.org for that program, and that's up under Hosea. They just go to forhosea.org.
Okay.
Sign on.
What's the cost to participate in the program?
The cost to participate in the program
Yes.
for under Hosea, no cost for women. No,
Beautiful.
Okay.
no
Okay.
cost.
Beautiful.
No.
Beautiful.
So y'all hear that there is a complimentary program, because we kind of shy away from the word free. Free
Oh,
has
that's
a
right.
kind of thing.
Yes.
It's
That's right.
complimentary,
Mhm.
Complimentary program.
complimentary
Yes.
program, women's life skill and
Life skills and job development program.
life skills and job development program. And I am honored to work with Brenda. She mentioned the three components, the communication piece. She
Communications.
threw
They
me
had a
out
piece.
there on the front line for each one of these workshops to get the party started
That's right.
with
That's a major
how to
piece.
become a dynamic communicator. How to become a dynamic communicator workshop.
That's
So
right.
make sure you go to four Hosea, the number four, HOSEA.org, and look up that information and sign up, or send somebody that you know. Those of you who are watching the program, please, we bring on people that have information that can be beneficial
Right.
to the community. So you know someone, we're in the Atlanta metropolitan area, that can benefit from this complimentary program, quote unquote free program for women, life skills and job development. So, Sister Sharien, Sister Christina, you all mind chiming in on that women's leadership piece that she talked about?
All right.
Yes,
Well,
yes, Sister
okay.
Christina.
You want me to go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Praise be to Allah.
Sister
The
Captain,
sister.
Sister
Yes.
Student Captain,
Yeah.
uh,
Praise
Sister
be to
Student
Allah.
MGT Captain Christina Muhammad.
Come on now. Come on now. I see there's so many different vast of and really important information that the sister was sharing, and it's real. Myself too, I come from a family. My father, he was real strict. He wanted a boy. He didn't get a chance to get a boy. So he made me, the three girls that he had, he actually prepared us for life. So, like the sister said, is basically if we are called to do a job, we can
Right.
do it. So when you think about women today, all the different songs that are out there, all the women who are independent, throw your hands up at me,
Yeah.
there's so much dissatisfaction in the world. There's so much that our brothers are going through in the world that sisters have to take on several other different activities that may be outside. But I'm very thankful for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan because, even when I got a chance to meet with the minister and him knowing the strength of me and knowing the strength of sisters, we got a lot of powerful sisters out there.
That's
And we
right.
are, as sisters, considered the help mate. To help meet.
That's
I'm
right.
going to help you meet your goal. I'm going to help
Right.
mate to
That's
meet your
right.
goal as far as what you need to be. So when we think about leaderships for the sisters, we are rough and tough. It's even in the scriptures. And during the
Hmm.
last days and dealing with Jesus, it said the sisters were there with him. It said the sisters went miles and miles to be there with Jesus. Then it talked about the disciples were asleep. So when you think about those things and dealing with the sisters and all the different problems that we have, we suppress. Dealing with this world today is so wild and so wicked. There's so much that's thrown on us. Dealing with abuse from people, we have to overcome those things, but we have tools to overcome. But when you are strong and you are able to lead, and I'm thankful to Allah that I'm able to lead such a group of beautiful women, you have to be able to have the conversation conversation. I love to have conversations with our sisters because I see so many sisters out there that are really, really, really hurt, that just want somebody that they can sit and talk to and talk with, but they also want to be themselves. Now, there is something that's going on, sisters, with sisters and brothers at this time where we are not able to come together. And that is because sisters were placed in a situation where we're more vulnerable, where we have to be out front and we have to lead. But I'm thankful that I'm able to lead with my husband. So my husband, again, as I said before, my husband is the leader, but it's a great feeling that I can sit there beside my husband and lead with him, and he has no problem at all. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because the man is the leader, that a woman can't sit there and work right there beside her man. That's where the misunderstood word comes in. It's that, I heard the minister say that a woman is just not supposed to sit at home and just to have the children and just to clean the home. Sisters, we want to get out there and work too. So then you have sisters that are out there looking like, how am I supposed to be myself, but I'm supposed to sit at home? No, the minister said your home is your place, is your base. We know what we have to do. And if your home is structured and your home is prepared, then you have to go out there and provide what your purpose in life is. So me dealing with the sisters, I do see different types of personalities of sisters, some strong, some may be a little bit more weaker, but our job is to pull that sister up where we are. And just to kind of touch on really quickly, and I'll let Sister Sharien speak on it a little bit more, our job as the sisters, again, is to be there to help our men. We know at this particular time, it's easier for the woman to get in a place of leadership or to get a better job or to slide in through here to have conversations. But our thing is, when we get in those positions, we don't help pull our brothers up. And that's what we have to do. We have to realize, yes, that's fine. I can go in and do what my purpose is, but I have to be able to be willing to pull that brother up with me, to pull that Black man up with me and bring him all the way up to the top versus just being there and staying there. And that's what I learned from me being this 10,000 fearless first responders. I am in leadership. And it has been very difficult for my brothers that are around me to even, it's an uncomfortable feeling to feel that there's a sister that, she's in charge or she can say this or do that. It's a very uncomfortable thing because in a brother's nature, it is to lead. And we just have to have those open communications. And I'm secure about myself. And as long as a sister is secure about herself, we can go out, and I can do that as the MGT captain. I can help those sisters that are right there with me. I'm not going to say up underneath my charge, because I bring my sisters right there with me. We walk on the front line together. There's no little I's and big U's when it comes to Muhammad sisters. So those sisters that are walking with me, I do the same thing. I want to be there to make sure I pull that sister up and bring the best out of her that I possibly can, so she won't sink into society and be less than what God created her to be.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the lead. I just want to make a small little correction.
You said it, and you did it. Awesome job.
Yes.
Thank you so a lot. Uh-oh, you're on mute.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay, I said awesome job. I was speaking and I was on mute. Praise be to Allah. Thank you so much for taking the lead, Sister Student Captain Christina. I wanted to make a correction. I was not the student captain. I was acting student captain. I was the first officer, and in the absence of the captain of the Southern Region, I fell into the place of acting as student captain. But anyways, with the role of the women, hold on one second. I have the renovations happening. I had a flood, and so they just turned on this loud machine. I don't know if you heard it. It's like, That's why I keep disappearing back and forth, because there's work being done. But anyways, praise be to Allah. Wanted to say, when it comes to our sisters getting caught up in this so-called women's lib movement, that really has nothing to do with the Black woman and the Black man. Our Black men are at the bottom of the totem pole. We are not in that battle. So those of us who stand on the front line with that battle, with the white woman and her husband or her man, that's a different fight.
Come on.
Our Black men do not make the same money as the Black woman. They make less.
That's right.
So that we're not on the field fighting to say that our men are making more than we make.
Come on now.
We have more degrees. We have
That's
more
right.
education. Yes, there's opportunity, but the spirit of the Black man gets so broken in this society where he has been, I look at it like this, he has been the bullseye, a target of the open enemy, striving to put a pin in his head since the days of Moses, as far as I can go back and study. But I know it may have been further than that. But Pharaoh has been trying to put a pin in the head of the Black man or the Black male child 4,000 years ago. So if you see a Black man, know that you're looking at God and know that he is at the brunt of the attack. And it is all praises due to Allah.
That's right.
Come on.
And when you
Come
see him, you're looking at a miracle. So when you see the Black man, you're not looking at a person who is taken from you what you think is rightfully yours. I wanted to just make that statement. Next, I wanted to say is that as a Black woman, we have been fighting. Yes.
Yeah.
And we still fight. You know,
right.
We still fight to protect our sons, our homes, our families, our livelihood. So we may come across as someone who is strong. Well, yes, we are strong. That's why we're still here. We have taken on so many different attacks, so many different types of attacks over centuries, and we still stand. That's why, because we fight. So I just wanted to say that. Now, when it comes to being submissive, we're taught to submit to the man who submits to the will of Allah or to the will of God. If he is submitting to the will of God, then we can submit to him. If he's not submitting and you see that he's not submitting, then you don't submit. Then you don't put yourself in his home. You don't put yourself under his charge.
That's right.
So that's what I wanted to say to that. And when it comes to a disastrous situation, because it was I missed bits and pieces of the conversation, but then I was hearing some things that I kept having to go and check on the situation that I have going on in my home. One of the things I wanted to say about what I'm dealing with right now is there was a leak in the garage from the hot water heater, and that caused damage to the walls, which caused damage to the floors, which now, they had to be dug up and all this other stuff. Now, as a single sister, I have to manage these things. If I had a husband, he would be handling a lot of this that I'm having to handle. Not only do I have to handle it from the perspective of following up and making sure things get done, from choosing and decorating, which is more like my natural role, to say, oh, I want this kind of comfort, I want that, ooh, right? But I also have to be like, yo, this is too much. No, it shouldn't cost, this needs to be done. It shouldn't take 3 weeks. It should be, things that I wouldn't have to do if I had a husband, right? So when you talk about when you have to stand up as a woman or a sister, and you have to take charge of a particular situation, it can bring that out of you. Where if I was married, I would be able to be more relaxed, and I wouldn't have to take on that role. So that's just an example. And the same thing happens when you're rearing children. And many of us are like Hagar, and so we are rearing children alone. Then we may be a little bit rougher, on the edges, just waiting for that strong Black man to step in.
That's right.
And it take what's rightfully his, because I don't want your job. I promise you that. I don't want it, but I'll do it for the survival of myself, my family, and my people.
And that's right. And I think we do it for our family. But and when you think about human services, when you look at look way back in when human services were first put in place, what did human services come about? Think about what it hasn't been in our favor from the from the beginning. Because when you think about it, look at what happened with when they gave us food stamps, when they gave us that finance, that cash aid. What was it? Look what the target was. You could not have a male in your household.
That's right.
In order to get that. That was put in place to break down that family structure.
Mhm.
It was to break down that for us. So it's never been really in our favor. Because our men, the women couldn't take part in that if there was a man in the household. So that was where it started. And then that enabled, but
And that
families
that was something that
exposed to
my
that.
mother taught me real early. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That was something my
they could
mother
not,
taught me
yes. If that
real
man was
early.
there, no. So if we think about why is that? Why wouldn't you build my whole family? Why
Mhm.
wouldn't you build us as a unit? Because
Mhm.
of what I know about Black men, and that they are very good at what they do. They're powerful, and they have, I mean, and they are a direct target to society. And what I mean by that, because look at the things that they achieve.
Mhm.
If given just a little bit, look at what they've achieved. And we can look back at the ones that are out there selling on the street. They're skilled. They're very skilled. And if you look at all of the arenas that they've gone into, that they've done different things,
Mhm.
they're excellent. But you're right, they've been broke down, purposely broke down, because they are a direct threat to, I think, to society and the way society is set up right now.
Mhm.
They're a
Yeah,
direct threat to that.
absolutely.
So, and I think, but in
Absolutely.
human service, we got to be so careful as to what we do and how we do it, and not to enable our community any further than they have been, and to bring them back. We've got to be able to bring them back around.
And that's why we're taught to do for self. You know, do
Exactly.
for
Yes.
self or we suffer the consequences. And so
Right.
what makes Sister Christina and Brother Reginald so attractive in my mind is the fact that they work together as a team.
That's
It's
right.
Exactly.
a
Yeah, I love
husband and
it.
wife
That's
I
union.
right.
love it.
And you know, even though Sister Christina is like this, that black man is sitting
She's
next to
tough, that's
her,
all
and I
right.
know
She
when
says
he
she's bringing
needs
him up
to,
right with her. That's
he
right.
shuts it down, right?
That makes
That's
a
right. That's
powerful
right.
And
unit.
he takes
Yes.
the reign. And so,
Yes.
and it's a beautiful comfort to have
It is. It
to have
is.
that.
Yes.
And yes,
Yes.
and that is a threat. It
Yeah.
is it's a threat to those who want to keep the black family down. And so as black women, we have to not get caught up in
That's
the
right.
fight of
Come on.
others. We're
That's
taking
right.
on the reins of others, which is a distraction from our true realities and what is it that we need as a people. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to share on this platform. Health and human services in another dimension. We had the medical profession. We've
Hmm.
had the engineers on the show sharing technology and how that's produced to aid the efforts of health and human services. And we have now the emergency responders. And I hear you talking, Sister Brenda, about the enabling. And enabling is definitely an issue where where the people just become dependent, and that's
Right.
also
Right.
a part of the attack. Where
Exactly.
we just want the government cheese, and we are content with
That's
that.
it. Yes.
As opposed to going out and doing something for
Step
ourselves,
outside the
so that we
line.
are not dependent on that government cheese, which is actually poison and killing us wholesale, right? To where
Right.
Right.
Minister Ishmael mentioned, he talked about this week, this past Sunday. You can catch it on the archive webcast at NOI.org. He was talking about processed foods and how we have to get into how to eat to live as a reminder to us that we have to get into farming, as brother
Got you.
he mentioned with the
Got you.
economic blueprint. Go to the economicblueprint.org and give your nickel, your 5 cents a day. Add it up to the $18 a year, and
Mhm.
just handle that. That's like a one-shot deal. You can do that once a year, or you could do it monthly. Some of us are
Right.
ballers. We got enough. We can do $18 a month. Many of us. Let's go to economicblueprint.org and make your donation, so we can continue to get the farmland that is so necessary, and not only get the farmland,
That's
but
right.
also employ us to actually cultivate and maintain and
Yeah.
harvest the fruits and vegetables and the livestock on these on the farmland, because that's also extremely important. So, Brother Jahi, I seen you come back in. I don't know if is you wanted to share the video at some point.
Yeah, well, brother Reggie and sister Christina has one of their team members that they want to bring up. That's
Oh,
brother
okay, yes,
Derek.
sir.
So will you all introduce brother Derek to the Mind and Money Matters live show family?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Again, this is Brother Reginald. We have one of my teammates, one of our right-hand men that's always on the battlefield with us in every endeavor that we do. So we wanted to bring him on because we want to give the audience, the engineers, the people, another viewpoint of not just Sister Christina and Brother Reginald, but Brother Derek Muhammad as well, because he was one of the ones, the boots on the ground with us in the Bahamas, and he and I and Sister Christina did a marvelous, wonderful job. So I wanted him to give his perspective, his viewpoint, his whole view of what he saw or what he seen. Because a lot of times what we have to understand is a lot of times not even just believers in the Nation of Islam. We're gonna just say people, period. Some people have not even been out of their own state. Some people haven't even been out of their own country. But praise be to Allah, we got a chance to go out of the country and experience a whole different way of living. So my brother is on the line as well, and I want him to give, if he can, give him his viewpoint of what he sees.
All praise is due to Allah. Welcome, brother Derek, to Mind and Money Matters live show. We're honored to have you on, and we thank you for your patience, because you were on when I got on. So you've been waiting diligently.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, it's a privilege and an honor to be with the 10,000 Fearless. I could go on and on and on about the trip, but I could just say basically from the very start to the very end, it was a trip of faith. It definitely was a trip of faith. People were very receptive, very humble, very loving. They demonstrated the spirit of love. They were excited and ready to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That was very much pushed that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan loves them. And the 10,000 Fearless First Responders pushed that. They were very receptive, and they're looking for material, and look forward to going back, performing more duty, and spreading the word of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Again, it's very, very short. From the beginning to the end, it was a trip of faith. I just want to say two things real quick. Here in the city of Austin, I just thought about UT. It has 60,000 students. And they bleed orange. So we're fearless first responders of the new orange in the city of Austin by the grace of God.
Come on now, brother. Go ahead, bro.
But I'm looking forward to doing many, many more trips where get some connections to go to Haiti, to Costa Rica, and many more. I'm very excited just to see the spirit of the people and the way that they received us. As it was totally an honor to be amongst the believers in the 10,000 Fearless First Responders.
Wonderful. So what role do you play with the 10,000 Fearless? I know every team member has a role that they play. So what is it that you do when you're going out on these missions?
My role is the recovery and restoration, and also as well as I do the assist, like bringing them to the present, nerve assist and touch assist, and just being wherever I'm needed. So it's again, I'm very overwhelmed with the spirit of love, and just the honor to act on the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I just love being in the presence of the brothers and the sisters and the 10,000 Fearless First Responders. It's just overwhelming.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what's your background, brother Derek? That is your background similar to what you do with this first responder? Is this something that you got into by being under the tutelage of Brother Reginald and Sister Christina?
Yes, we have a long history together. My background is in the landscape and tree service, so it fits right on in. And plus, of course, you know, I'm in the Nation of Islam. So we're about the and demonstration of love. Honor to be here at this time, President.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be on with us here at Mind and Money Matters live show to share your experience being out there literally on the front line, helping to revive and restore the people that have gone through traumatic situations. Sister Sharien still with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. You have questions for Brother Derek?
You know, I was as he was speaking. Initially, I was thinking about the lumber, so I want to get to that, Sister Christina, Brother Reginald, and how, you know, how do you know, like, do I just buy me a 2x4 and ship it to you, or is there another way for you to get the lumber, right? So you hold that thought, right? Because I heard you say you need lumber, right? The people need lumber. So how do I get the lumber to them, or how do we get it to you to get to them, or how does that all work? And then with the brother, when he was speaking about the nerve touch assist and all that, I was just thinking, like, you know, one of the things that I do is respond to those types of situations. And it is so important to have, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan instructed us to have at least one Dianetic auditor in every home. And it's so important to have us on the scene, because when people start to break down emotionally, because of either triggers or can't handle what they seeing, there has to be, or even the fear of what they think they might see, or, you know, is this combination of all these things? You know, there has to be those on the scene who can bring people to present time and into analytical thinking, so that they can respond accordingly. Time dictates the agenda. And so when we have people who are falling out from what they may perceive of what they're looking at versus what they are looking at, and having the confidence and faith that they have the tools to respond. Now, of course, preparation is key. And so we have, when those of us who are not in a disastrous situation need to take advantage of the opportunity to prepare, because preparation meets opportunity. And when it does, you can respond analytically. And so when I heard you mention that, giving assist, and then the glow in your face, you just lit up as you said that. I just wanted to say, praise be to Allah. Thank you for being obedient and preparing yourself so that you are able to respond as needed. And I'm prayerful that those who may listen, who are hearing this, are more inspired to either utilize the technology or get it and then use it, so that our people could be saved by the hands of those who have been saved by the Lamb of God, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and his spiritual father, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Master Father Muhammad, the God in our midst. Praise be to Allah. So yeah, that's why I'm just getting excited. I'm ready to, like, you know, I'm ready to just, you know, start a whole new show just on getting the technology. You know, as you were speaking, I was thinking about the brother that you all brought on, Brother Reginald and Sister Christina, who talked about the radio and having the technology on hand. You know, so that was was that 2-3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. The brother that you brought on, what is the name of his company again? The brother
He's the communications department.
With the radios. Pardon me?
He's a part of the 10,000 communications department. Brother Paul Muhammad, based here in College Park, Georgia.
Oh, okay, yes. But he had given information on how to get those radios and how to get the drones. He dealt with, he showed the drones and the importance of being able to take area view pictures in a situation of a
That's right.
disaster,
That's right.
things like that. So I believe that
Yes.
was 2 weeks ago on the show. So that would
2
be
weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago, yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
episode
Yes, ma'am.
35, y'all. If you wanted to go back and catch that. But these things is just extremely important to have in your survival kit, as well as the tools that you just want to have in your heart and mind, because we're to be able to respond and immediately as the need arises. So thank you so much for sharing. That's all I wanted to say, Brother Derek. Is just thank you. It's just beautiful.
Well, I want to, if I may, can I add this in?
Sure,
Sure.
absolutely.
I want to say this. You know, when we look at a disaster, and we before I say that, let me say, when you go home and you look inside your home, you look inside your garage, you look inside your office space, you know, and relatives and the same thing. You look around, and every square inch of your house, there is something that is in need. You got to take that same mindset and take it to any disaster that happened, whether it's Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Harvey, Matthew, the Bahamas, whatever the case may be. These people, yes, they are in need of lumber. Now, when Sister Christina says lumber, she's meaning anything construction wise, which is particle board. We're talking about rebar. We're talking about roof being redone, walls being redone, every aspect of disaster. That is what these people need. Now they also need electricians, because one of the things we experienced was, as we go, because we were going door to door, and this is very important. See, when you having a disaster that is taking place, and there's flood waters that are in those homes, a lot of those electrical lines are still wet. So a lot of those people's homes, door to door, couldn't get their electricity cut on because the lines are still wet. So if the city decide to cut the electricity on, those people will either burn up in an electrical fire or get shocked. Because I can show pictures on Facebook as well, that when we walked into the homes, the electrical lines were hanging from the ceiling.
Now you have
So
the
what does that mean?
capability of sharing your screen. So if you have any
Sure.
images that you would like to show, you can
Yes,
share
ma'am.
your screen and then walk us through what we're looking at.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I know Sister Christina wanted to show a video here shortly, but I can show that too. But what I'm saying is that we have a direct connect now, just by, you know, the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, teaches us that we have to build friendships in all walks of life. Well, we were able to build a friendship with the Caribbean brother in the Bahamas, to where if whatever we set up here to be shipped to the Bahamas, we can get it shipped to the Bahamas through Caribbean. Help me out, Sister Christina. It's Carnival Cruise, free at charge.
Oh wow!
Carnival Cruise is picking up the tab, free at charge, for any supplies that is getting shipped to the Bahamas, and that's whatever you would like to ship over. Now the key is like Sister Christina said, the key is that when you ship something over to them, it's going to get distributed to everybody. So the key is to put a personal name on it, so it can get distributed to that person. That's the key. So what we're doing now is we're trying to get our resources together. We're trying to get with every major store here in Texas, in Atlanta, in Chicago, wherever, Home Depots, Lowe's, Walmarts, even Sam's for that matter, and start getting up some supplies, and so we can ship it to them, so we can start, because we're planning to go back to build those people's homes and to give them clothes and to give them washing machines. Because when we, like I said, when we were there, the days that we were there, we had no electricity. So wherever they experienced, we experienced too. We had no shower. We had no way to wash our clothes. We had no electricity to cook our food. We were dealing with the same calamities that they were dealing with.
That's right.
Wow. So I'm thinking when you saying that, brother, the first thing I thought, one, it never even occurred to me, wet wires. Like, where am I, right? So now I'm thinking the first thing that came to my mind is something to dry it out. Does it have to dry out by the air?
Absolutely.
So because you can't even use the electrical blowers or any of those things, right? So you just have to just wait until the water dissipates and dries out based on the heat or air, whatever, right?
That's right.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna show you some images. Okay, there you go. Perfect. It works perfect. So I'm gonna show you some images of what this particular house right here. This guy roof caved in. When it caved in, we as a 10,000 Fearless, along with a wonderful group that was out of Mexico City, helped this individual. He's a DJ, and he lost pretty much everything in his house, his refrigerator, his garage, all of that. He lost everything. So what we did was we came in and restored this before we left. So this is what it looks like now, and I can show you a picture of what it looks like in a few minutes. But these are the kind of calamities, these are the kind of structure damage that you're seeing in the Bahamas. Hold on. Okay.
You gonna find another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, he's done it, girl.
So you getting us ready to be able to see the image of the restoration, right?
Yes, ma'am. So these are the electrical wires that you see right there. You see how the roof, this is internal. This is internal. This is a man's roof internal. So that's the kind of electrical wire that is hanging low. So if an electrician comes in, he won't be able to do anything until that dries out. You see, that is a low hanging lamp that was there.
So that's something, when you mention the fact that, if the city or the government was ready to turn the power back up and they turn it back up, assuming that everyone is dried out and too prematurely, then fires begin to break out. Wow.
Absolutely. And that's the things that we have. We're getting more pictures right now. So those are the show this one. Those are the kind of things that we were dealing with. This right here is something that came out of the actual someone's home. That's a sofa there, and that's all the kind of debris that the man had in his house.
That got water damage.
Absolutely. I got one more I want to show you. Hold on. I got one more I'm going to show you.
So now when you go into
Sister
these
Christina
places, as you're looking for these images, and when you go into these places, do you utilize the human resources that are already on the ground that are from that area? Do the people of the community pitch in to help restore?
Absolutely. One of the things that we were doing was we were sitting, like it was like I think the third or fourth day we were there, and the show this right here. We were like the third or fourth day, and we were there. The electrical company was coming in and cutting on electricity. So they don't have a YMCA, they got a YMTA, and that's where we were staying at. And finally, we got a chance to get electricity ourselves. So which means you got your air, you got some water, you have ceiling fans that are working, and not only that, you're charging up your cell phones and things like that. But what I wanted to show you, I wanted to show you when Sister Christina said that the government office was damaged. That's all your tax files. That's all your Social Security files. That's all of your anything dealing with Bahama government information. Though that building was damaged, and it starts from here, where you can see my finger, and goes all the way up.
Wow! So that's the city's tax files.
Absolutely. All of that from 4 to 6 feet in height was damaged in that particular building.
Wow. Interesting.
So
I saw Sister Christina pulling in a pulley with boxes on it. What was that?
That's the files. That's the files. You talking about that picture right there? That's the
right. And she has a mask. Why is she wearing a mask?
Because that's good. Very good question. Very good question. So as you see in this clicker, can you see the clicker here?
Yeah, I see it.
At the doorway?
Yes.
Okay. Inside this doorway is the actual where the files are. Right at this threshold was so much mold.
Wow.
Mind you, this has been in there probably months.
Wow.
So we can't go into the building weeks.
Yeah.
But probably weeks. We can't go into the building without mask on because the mold is so strong. So each one of us, me, Derek, and Sister Christina, had masks on. We had to double, sometimes triple our mask up to go into this building because there was so much mold.
Wow. So what does it look like now after you all have come in and assisted? What you were showing the building that you said you were going to show us it restored?
Yeah, where's that?
Okay, hold on. The house. Okay, hold on. Let me see. So the one we restored, I think it's actually on your phone. Hold on. I have it here. Hold on, sister.
The before and after.
Okay.
Man, I pray that Allah bless you all manifold, man, for the beautiful work that you are doing, just traveling around and just helping the people to see, one, that the power is in their hand to do the work, that and helping them to get back on track is absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure that they are grateful for your presence. Absolutely.
And the brother, his name is Robert. The brother, he was so grateful for us coming in and doing it that it was crazy. So this is the before right here, and this is the after.
Now, keeping in mind, without lumber, so we had to go around and we had to find scraps just to make it feasible after the cleanup. So once we're able to get the lumber in, we can take all of this out. The roofs, if you can see the roof here, there is a tarp. Yes. On all these homes are tarps. They don't have actual wooded roofs. One of the homes back behind it, we were looking at where's the roof. It was back behind her home where the winds picked the whole roof up and threw it back behind her home. So we're able to go into that and take all those tarps off of those roofs and reset the roofs. What Brother Reginald's going to show you now, this is what, when you go into one of our sisters' homes that we had to tell her she had to get out of there because they were turning the power on, this is what her living room looked like. Look, you have wires coming out, but look how it's actually spliced. That's how her electricity ran in her home, and it's been like that. So we're talking about, again, since 2016, how long does it take for these people to be able to bounce back? This stems from 2016.
Exactly.
So
are you guys working with the BOAC team down there?
Yes, ma'am. We work with the BOAC team as well. So there's all different types of teams that are down there that we're working with. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
So how can we help, Sister Christina? How can we help?
We definitely, I would like to pull that Carnival cruise and take them up on that offer. I would like to fill up a boat. All we have to do is go down to Home Depot and we order all that we need. Like Brother Reginald said, we need plywood, we need hammers, we need nails, we need 2x4s. I want to fill a ship up. So once we get there, I can meet them there at the BART and we can just go in there together and say, this was actually sent from the U.S. for Christina Muhammad. Once we get there, we have access to all of that lumber. We have people there. While we were there, we met a wonderful brown team. I see our Hispanic brothers. There's some teams. There's some pictures that we have of them. Go down again. It's a famous, I don't know if you ever heard of Los Topos. It's a famous search and rescue team that's down there. And it's with our Latino brothers and sisters. You know, they are hard workers. I love them dearly. So when we're not looking for people, boots on the ground, we were in the community building. So these are some builders that are there by trade. They build. So we were the ones in there knocking out sheetrock, putting up ceilings and whatever that we can possibly do. So our brothers are down there now, and they will be down there waiting on us to come back. And they're going to actually go in with us, and they're going to start helping us so we can actually build and get these people some, some peace so they can actually start living correctly. So that's what we love to do, whether we go in together or we build a money bank that we can go in at once and say, this is what we need. If we can get maybe $5,000 worth of lumber, hammers and nails and stuff like that, that we will actually have enough to fill up a boat. And they will, like Brother Reginald said, we won't have to pay for shipment. They'll sell the stuff up to us, and we can meet them at the bar, and we can get our own supplies and take it where we have to go.
Now, do you have an account with Home Depot, or that if people would, let's say here in Atlanta, and I don't have much, but I can pay for a plywood, and I order it and have it shipped to where, under which account?
Okay, awesome. So what we'll do, since we're back home now physically, we're going to go down tomorrow and we're going to establish that there at Home Depot. So therefore, they would have the name and the organization, and they will be prepared. So then we can actually send that out and flush that out. So then once we're ready to build the boat, that's when the team and I, we're going to get back and head back down there. When we have
so keep us posted with that, so we know what to announce to the people, where they can send, wherever, if you just gave $10 to an account or $20, 1,000 people giving $20 is a good enough amount to service many homes there. And then I like the idea that you mentioned about the families and having a name to actually send it to. So if there was a list of names that people can pull from to say, I adopt a family, right? And I adopt a family with my donation, that would be helpful to those of us who desire to help monetarily and not have the means to physically be there, right? So we need a list of family names, an account for which funds or orders from a hardware store can go to help you to be able to get that shipment in one location to be shipped to your designated location, because there's so many places that have been hit hard by these hurricanes, and like you said, reoccurring hurricanes. So still not recovered from 2016, and now you hit again in 2019, 3 years later, and you still have exposed wires from 2016. So thank you so much for doing what you do. May Allah continue to bless you. Let us know how we can assist. And Sister Brenda Williams, I want to talk offline too. I want to just see what kind of organizational things that can be established to assist with making sure everything is set up the way it needs to be to get the help that's needed. Anything that I could do to assist, or that we Master the Science of Business can do to assist, we would be happy to do so. Brother Jahi.
All right. Well, by the clock on the wall, I think that's all, y'all. You remember that, Brenda, from the old DJ, the DJs back in the day? One last time, please give us contact information, Brenda and Christina and Reggie, contact information for your organization. And then for those who are watching, please share this podcast. Please subscribe to Mind and Money Matters Live show. We have about 40 videos on our channel, but we've been doing the visual broadcast for almost 2 years now. So we have close to 100 episodes on the visual, and another 150 episodes when we were doing the conference call platform. So yeah, we've interviewed over 450 people in the last 3 years, 36 weeks.
That's beautiful.
We thank all of you brilliant folk for being on here. We just need those who are watching to help spread the word, share the word, share the information, especially a show like tonight's show, so full of information that can be beneficial to somebody that you know. So Brenda, how do we get in contact? How do those who are watching get in contact with you?
My email is WILIN, that's willing to be at AOL.com. It's WIL, 1L, IN, number 2, letter B, at AOL.com.
At AOL.com. Thank you, ma'am. Brother Derek, we thank you so much for joining us. And a true soldier, being with Brother Reggie and Sister Christina. And as I said, hanging out with us today. You, like I said, you were on when I got on. And that was almost 2 hours ago. So thank you. Thank you for your diligence. And, you're in the landscape business. So we want to help you promote your business. You're in the Austin, Texas area, and you need your trees cut back, and you need
I need you in Atlanta. I need you. I need you in Atlanta right now. Right.
I have a lot of trees out front. I could use them also. I can also.
I got some trees that need to be.
That's right.
Look, your work is here, bro.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
So how can we get in contact with you, Brother Derek?
It's a 512-497-2901. At your place lawn service.
All right, repeat that number one more time.
You can contact me through the 10,000 Fearless First Responders.
Okay.
And we're working like that.
Okay, no problem. Yes,
so
sir.
You said 512, repeat that.
512-497-2901.
All right, thank you. And our special guest co-host, the dynamic duo from 10,000 Fearless First Responders, who come into a city near you. So you all on your way to Beaumont, you said Port Arthur?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And to for those who want to bring you into their city to do that workshop, the Disaster Preparedness Workshop, how do they contact you?
All right, you can call us at 512-450-2411 or reach us at 10K Fearless First Responders at yahoo.com. The 10K, 10 is spelled out TENK, Fearless First Responders at yahoo.com.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you all so much. Thank all of you, Brenda, Christina, Reggie, Derek. Appreciate you for coming on and sharing. And we that's it for this episode, for the Health and Human Services episode. Please join us next week. We will have, inshallah, Brother Reggie and Sister Christina back, possibly another one of their team members, as well as we will have Sister Teresa Torres out of Stockton, California, who is a drug and alcohol abuse counselor for the natives, for our native brothers and sisters. She is our one of our special guests next Monday. So please tune in next Monday, 6:00 p.m. Or you can catch the broadcast on our YouTube channel, Mind and Money Matters live show, anytime within an hour after the broadcast. You can catch us. It'll be there. Thank you again so much. May Allah bless all of you and continue to provide you with the strength and the fortitude and the resilience. I like that word. The resilience to continue what each and every one of you all are doing.
I just wanted to end with this, the final call. The final call. The spirit of warning by the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan.
Yes,
is not the answer. And you can open that up to weed, alcohol, quaaludes, any other substance is not
That's right. That's right.
Is not the answer. The answer is your hands, blood, sweat, and tears, and getting in there.
That's right.
And getting the work done to clean it up, making our neighborhoods a decent and safe place to live with the 10,000 Fearless.
That's right.
Brother Jahi, take us out.
All right, we out. Brenda, I see you on Friday for the
job fair. Yes, sir.
Job fair workshop series. Oh, you didn't give us information about that. Where is that?
I have a job fair at Oak Hill and that's at 2805 Metropolitan. And it will be starting at 9 a.m. It started at 9 a.m. registration. Workshops will be done.
Which day is the job fair?
Pardon me?
Which day?
That's on Friday.
Friday,
This
September the
coming
27th.
Friday.
This Friday.
Where is the location?
Oak Hill Child and Adolescent Center. That's at 2805 Metropolitan Parkway.
Okay, but what
Atlanta,
city?
Georgia.
This is Atlanta, Georgia, right? Because we all over the, it's the World Wide Web.
That's right.
We have people from all over listening
Right.
in on the show right now. So this is in Atlanta, Georgia,
right.
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill
it
Child and
starts at 9
Adolescent
a.m.
Center. Yes. 9 a.m. for registration.
And what's the cost on it?
Pardon me?
What's the cost?
Complimentary. A complimentary workshop.
Very, very good, Grasshopper.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.